Hi, everybody. My name is Ryan, and I'm here to do a Dark Souls 3 top 5 boss fight ranking with my friend WindyRL. We are specifically looking at the base game. We'll probably do a ranking of the DLC at some point soon, but we just wanted to look at the base game right now. How are you doing, RL?
I'm chilling, Doug. How you feeling?
Doing great. Thank you. Um,
Anytime.
we're gonna go from our number five pick to our number one pick. We're just gonna take turns. Um, do you want to start off, RL?
Sure. So for Dark Souls 3 base game, I guess I'll start by saying I do like 95% of the bosses. There are a couple I don't like, but I didn't add them in the list because I feel like I should do my top five favorite, like we're
Yeah.
doing, I guess. And I feel like a couple of these might be a little out of pocket, but that's just my opinion, I guess.
Hey, that's what we want.
That is true. That is true. And I do like all these fights, so even though like my number fifth spot is fifth, I'm not saying it's a bad fight because I like all these fights. It's just this is how my order was, I think.
Absolutely. I
So
agree.
sorry. Um, I would say my number five is probably Champion Gundyr,
All
just
right.
because I do think he's dope. Like, there's nothing about him I don't think is not cool. Um, I kind of wish he was a main boss. If they just like redid like that whole like first part and then more in like a harder version, I think that would have been kind of cool, at least for an optional area or main part, I guess. But Gundyr himself, I like his kick. His kick is dope. I love that kick move he does. He's always been a cool boss, especially for a starting boss. Always been he's like a perfect challenge for starting off that fast to a boss. I think he's probably the most balanced boss you can start with, but Champion takes it up to like another notch. And I kind of like how aggressive he is because I'm an aggressive player myself most of the time. And I've also had a thing for halberds like his weapon. I've always liked them too. So his whole area is dark. It's a tense. I think it's just a great fight personally. And that's all I have to say, I think, about him.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that's spot on, honestly. And I promise, guys, we didn't plan this out, but my number five is also Champion Gundyr.
Hey!
Um, High emphasis on that kick move. That thing is so awesome, honestly.
Hmm.
And it hits too. I mean, I just think that,
It hits.
I think that I like the way it ties into the beginning of the game, first boss. Got kind of like an inverted, darker version of the area. I think this arena is even cooler because of how dark it is. I like that you could fall off the edge if you're not careful enough.
Hmm.
I like how aggressive his second phase is, but I also like that it's just a really fair fight. RL and I just played the game again recently, and I think we got him in one try together. And
I believe so, yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's been a challenge for me a couple times on my solo playthroughs, but now I've got him down pretty well. But yeah, just super
Hmm.
aggressive boss, a lot of fun, um, great design overall. I just think just truly an epic fight. It really has you on your toes the entire time.
Right, right. I agree with that 100%. I remember my first time going through, I thought he was low-key a block. I couldn't beat him for a while, but he was fun. I loved him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. How
Hmm.
about your number four, RL?
My number four, a part of me wishes I moved him up, but I have my own personal reasons as to why he's number four. My number four on my list is probably Abyss Watchers.
Okay.
I He was the first boss in Dark Souls 3 that I actually struggled with for a long time. Mostly because I guess he was like kind of your first actual difficult boss at that point.
Hmm.
And from what I remember, he's like the only boss in any Souls like I can think of right now, or at least during the time, I guess, that in mid fight, another one will spawn, and they can also fight each other. Which I don't know any other boss that can summon guys to fight each other like that, except in Elden Ring Nightreign. That's different though. That's different. But I just thought the whole arena was cool. Even the opening cutscene for him is dope. Everything about Abyss Watchers is amazing. In his second phase, first of all, I'm a sucker for second phases. And I will admit his second phase seems a little bit easier, but he seems a lot more aggressive a little bit. I feel like first phase he kind of just goes wherever he wants. He accidentally get hit by his friend, then he'll just start attacking him out of nowhere. But it's also like a lot going on in the first phase, and I do like my little chaotic moments like that. And second phase, he was just kind of another level once again. His arena was dope, move set's good, his weapon's good, armor set's good. Everything about Abyss Watchers I definitely did enjoy as well. Um, I don't really have anything in particular about him that like sticks out the most. I think it's just the general environment about him that I like a lot.
Yeah,
And I think that's it about him. Yeah.
yeah, that's completely fair, man. I mean, truly an epic fight as well. I know on my first playthrough, he was def definitely in a wall for me. Um,
Hmm.
After that, he became pretty easy overall, but I
Agreed,
was
yeah.
kind of like, yeah, when I first started playing the game, I was honestly like, oh no, this is ac absolutely insane. And
Oh yeah.
speaking of that, my number four is not the Abyss Watchers, but I've got
Hmm.
Pontiff Sullivan. Um,
uh,
I absolutely love this fight. On my first playthrough, Pontiff was definitely a wall. I think he took me at least a few hours to beat, probably like 20 times on that first playthrough. Ever since, he's been pretty easy for me, but just a really, really epic fight. I think that as you get used to him as a boss fight, he becomes a lot more manageable speed wise, but at first he just
hmm.
feels so fast and unforgiving. Like you feel like you don't have any time to heal and stuff. I remember on my first playthrough, I ended up just like hiding in a corner to heal real quick, like around like over by like the doors and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I was just doing whatever I could. Now it's not really like that, but I love his weapons, super epic. I love that second phase when he gets his wings. He has his clones, stuff like that. Just really intense there. Although I do think that the second phase is probably easier than the first because
I can agree, yeah.
yeah, he takes more time to rest and stuff. Whereas in the first phase, he's just all over the place. Super cool design, you know, just a super evil character too. I'm not like an expert on the lore, but everything I've heard, he's just like unforgivable as a character, honestly. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, just really cool overall. I like the arena. I like that it's in like a chapel. Um, and it's just kind of like I feel like that's kind of like the ultimate skill check where like after you beat him, you know you're gonna
Hmm.
beat the game.
I agree
Uh,
with that. Yeah.
Excellent. So yeah, that's my number four.
It's number four. I thought he was gonna be higher in your list. I'm not gonna lie. He's not on my list at all. He was too hard for me, bro.
Yeah, hey,
Uh,
this top five is all quality bosses. I don't
for
really
sure.
dislike any bosses in this game, but these top five are the absolute cream of the crop.
For sure. Yeah, yeah.
How about your
Did
number
you want me
three?
to? Okay, yeah. My number three, once again, a part of me wants to put him higher on the list, but I still have two people that, in my opinion, will always be above him. Nameless King is my number three pick. He is optional. You definitely don't have to fight him. Definitely should fight him. But I remember my first time going through Dark Souls 3, and first of all, I didn't even know that he was a boss until I looked up an all boss guide and I saw him and my friend was like, "Hey, I need help with this boss. Where are you in the game?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm actually working on getting to him." So he helped me out, and when I got to him, I understood why he needed help with him. That guy took me and him like 3 or 4 days to try and beat. And I was a strength build, and he was a dex, but man, he was intense. First of all, we were walking on clouds. That's already dope. That's already dope. I think the dragon fight in the beginning of it was pretty easy. As long as once you figure out his first few moves and he does that one like little fire breath attack where he kind of like goes like in a half circle, I guess. Once you get like in his like little pocket of his head, it's pretty easy if you just keep baiting that move. But his second phase, I guess you can call it when he's off the dragon, that's where the fight kind of kicks up more. I like his hair and I like I can wear it too after I beat him. His outfit's dope. He does a lot of damage and he has a lot of reach in my opinion. He's pretty quick. And I like how a lot of his moves kind of chain together. You never know where he's going to do like the second or the third swing because they all look the same, but you just got to know when it's coming. And I feel like he kind of keeps you on your toes throughout the entire time because he does not stop. And then the whole area of the game, honestly, not even just the boss fight, but just that whole area is just dope. But yeah, he as I got better at the game, he definitely became an easier boss. But I fight him every single time because he's just that cool of a boss, in my opinion. I don't think I've ever done a Dark Souls run without fighting him, to be honest. Usually as the last boss, but he's still everything about him. Challenges right there, outfits right there, environment, you already know, is peak.
Hey, I agree with pretty much everything you said there, honestly.
Hmm
Such an epic fight. We might be talking about him more later.
Hmm.
Um, but for now, my number three, we're actually gonna go to the female side of things. I've got the dancer, the Boreal Valley.
Ooh, ooh, she almost made it on my list.
Yeah, I love this fight, honestly.
Hmm
It's interesting right after Pontiff because they do have a little bit of a connection. She became like the dancer for Pontiff. She got like captured by him or whatever. But just a really, really interesting fight. She's a very grotesque kind of character, the way she's like hunched over. Um,
hmm
and she really is, it is really just a dance fighting her. She has very smooth movements overall, her swings, her hits. Um, that one attack where she spins around like crazy, super intense. Um, phase two is pretty tricky, honestly, but not too bad. Um, I've always heard that she was one of the hardest bosses in the game. I never really had like a huge amount of trouble with her. But there's a couple times where she stumped me on like higher new game pluses and stuff like that.
hmm
Um, just a cool design, cool arena. Um, very graceful, keeps you on your toes. That grab attack she has is really intense. Um, just super cool fight overall. That's my number three.
That's a really solid choice. If I had her on my list originally in my head before I wrote it down, and she was gonna be my number four, because Dancer has always been one of my, I guess I can't say one of my favorites, but she was always definitely one of my top 10. I put it like that. Always one of my top 10. Always look forward to fighting her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm
How about your number two, RL?
My number two, Lorien and Lothric, twin princes. First of all, a royalty kind of style fight, being like, I don't even know what kind of room I could call that, but I just liked it so much. I wish he was able to walk around a little bit more, but him having that teleport was definitely very unexpected. And he swings quick on every swing, especially when he hits you with that like 180 spin, like because you're behind him, but he still hits you. You really just have to dodge no matter what, basically. And then his second phase, everything just kicks up at once again. His brother starts throwing projectiles at you. He does that like I'm not gonna call it a one shot, but he does like that big like charge up move and like slams down. If you get hit by that, you're in bad shape. It's just so much stuff going on. You basically have to perfect that fight, I feel like. That's one of those fights where if you like mess up like once, you're in deep trouble. You better hope he just doesn't do anything for like 3 seconds so you can heal. And no matter where you are in the map, he's just gonna pop up every time. And I one reason why he's my number two is because one, like I said, it's just a cool fight. It's a lot going on. Two, if you I guess if you will, two bosses because there is two health bars. And that fight can, in theory, go on forever if you never take out his brother, which is kind of cool too, because I don't remember any bosses that are like technically like that, where you have to kill one to stop the other. At least in that way. Some parts, some other bosses, like, yeah, you have to do something else to in order to do it, sure, but uh his weapon's also very good. I actually use his like part of his armor set on my main character that's on like New Game like 9 or whatever, 8. I use his armor set, at least I think the chest piece and legs. I just wear it everywhere. Looks super cool in my opinion. I don't use his weapon too much, but it is very good. But I like how chaotic his boss fight can get. And I don't think he should have been really the last boss you have to fight before Soul Ascender. I think there is a better option in my opinion. But I would say for a fight before the final fight, he was a great difficulty, great scenery for it. It was a great way to start the end of the game, if that makes sense.
I agree completely.
Hmm. Hmm.
Absolutely. Good choice there. Very, very good
Thanks, dude.
choice. No problem. My number two was almost my number one, but I changed earlier today, and that's Nameless King.
Hmm.
Um, I really can't add too much to what you said. When I first played the game, once again, Nameless King was kind of a wall for me. Probably, I think that I said that Nameless King was the second hardest boss for me at the time. Um,
Hmm.
and that's including the DLC, because there was one DLC boss that I thought was harder. Um,
Hmm.
but at this point, I've kind of got Nameless King down pretty well to where like I'll either get him first try or after like a couple tries on a playthrough. But yeah, first super challenging. Probably took me about 40 plus tries. Um, and first phase is super epic with the dragon. The thing I like about it is that once you get to know that first phase, you can nail every single move. There's nothing that's really out of reach except for maybe when he shoots fire straight down. That's the only one that's kind of hard to dodge. But other than that, you could perfect that very easily. Second phase is intense. There's a mix of like lightning, physical attacks, very quick. He'll fly at times, etc. Like, um, just super cool fight. Keeps you on your toes. I love the cloud setting. It might be the greatest, or probably second greatest arena of the whole game, in my opinion. Um, and it's just total like end times feels.
For sure.
Uh,
For sure,
yeah,
yeah.
that's on my number two, Nameless King. How about your number one, RL?
My number one, it was almost Soul of Cinder, I'm not gonna lie, because he peak final boss. In all three Dark Souls, he is the best one in my opinion. But I'm gonna have to give my number one to Yorm, the giant. I feel like that was an out-of-pocket one, not gonna lie. But something about Yorm I've always liked. I don't know really anything about lore period in that game, but just something about him is dope. Maybe because he's a giant. I don't know. I'm good at giant fights. But first of all, you have to use a certain weapon to beat him. Only boss in the game like that. There are other bosses like that in other games, but his I think was pretty cool. I remember you told me I think in Demon Souls there was a boss like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Storm King.
Yeah. Which I saw your video on that. That looked pretty fun too. I won't
It
lie, that looked
is.
pretty fun. But Yorm, I personally think they could have done more with him, make him a little bit harder. Overall, as one of the five Lords of Cinders, he's kind of on the easier side. If you can just run away, you really just run away the whole time and just charge up your weapon, which is kind of the downside. But I like his aesthetic. You walk in, the man's sitting on a throne. That's already pretty dope. And then his machete is super cool. Second phase, it just gets wilder. Fire starts going everywhere. He starts chopping down the place. So it gets a lot harder trying to get your charge attacks off, especially solo. I do wish he. Oh, sorry, my alarm's going off. Sorry about that. But I think in the higher new games, it definitely gets a lot harder. You can definitely see and feel his damage and his health pool both increase. Because when I have to do him solo nowadays, I'm always charging the weapon before I go in because he takes a lot of hits. And I just like how much, I don't know the right word I can use, but I like what he brings to the table, I guess. And I kind of wish that he was the final boss before Soul of Cinder. I think that would have been, I'm gonna just say better, honestly. I think it would have been better instead of having the twin princes.
I agree.
But both of which were both very solid fights. Both deserve Lords of Cinder spots, obviously, for obvious reasons. The arena was dope. The fight wasn't as intense as like Lorien of Lothric can get, but it still has its own challenge, especially when you can't get away from him because he's running at you the whole time.
Absolutely. Oh,
Hmm
that's a great choice. I didn't expect it. But I absolutely love Yorm as a boss as well. He's in my top 10 for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
my number one though, I had to go Soul of Cinder.
for sure,
Um,
for sure.
I mean, honestly, I think Soul of Cinder is no question the best final boss
Hmm
of the like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne games. By far my favorite. I love how the fight is an amalgamation of like all the Lords of Cinders and Dark Souls 3 and Gwyn. I love how phase 2 you have Gwyn's music. Just gives me chills, honestly. Amazing arena. I love his design. How he's all like embered up and stuff. Super cool weapon.
hmm
I like using um his boss weapon as well. And um I love how he does his little backflip thing. That's such a cool
Yeah.
move. Honestly, maybe the coolest move of like any of these bosses. His attack in phase 2 where he like charges at you with the big swings and where he can like get you
hmm
up in the air. Absolutely terrifying. He's got AoE, he uses magic, he uses poison. He just does everything, honestly. Just a fantastic fight. And really, really keeps you on your toes. He's not like insanely hard, but like if you're not on top of your game, he will kill you. Like he's not easy by any means. I think he really is just like the perfect final boss. You feel like it's like the final exam after everything you learn in the game. And I think it just like emotionally feels there's so much finality in it emotionally as well. Um, I'd say it's one of my favorite boss fights of any of these games, if not my favorite. That's something we could probably look at in a future video. But
Mhm.
I think right now, yeah, Soul Cinder is definitely my number one.
Solid option. Honestly, it's Soul Cinder is basic. Soul of Cinder is basically the pinnacle of Dark Souls 3 bosses. But I something about Yorm just made me want to choose him. It was almost Soul of Cinder. I even wrote his name down, and I was like, I kind of like Yorm though. I kind of like him though. So I had to put Yorm in the list somewhere. Soul of Cinder though, very unique, and I do love that about him. There's no other boss that changes weapons in mid-fight more than once.
Mhm.
That's already super cool on his part.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And I
Mhm.
also totally get it with Yorm too. Fantastic fight. I agree that he would probably be a better final boss before Soul Cinder than Lorien and Lothric. Although I do really
Mhm.
like them being at the end of the game. But just super epic there. You know, he truly is larger than life. Maybe it isn't the hardest boss fight, but it's really, really intense. And when he's charging at you, you're like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, as you're trying to charge up the weapon. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's maybe one of the scariest fights in the whole game,
Mm.
honestly.
Yeah, you
Um,
could say that.
yeah, but honestly, RL, this was super fun. Great
Oh
list.
yeah.
I really appreciate you doing this, and I would love to do more videos like this in the future with you. Um, guys, like I said, RL has a channel, WindyRL on YouTube. Right now, you've been doing some videos of like Ninja Gaiden and Elden Ring Nightreign, correct?
Yeah, I'll admit my Ninja Gaiden was like my first series actually trying to like learn how to edit, so there might be a little bit of cringe, I guess you could say. But I'm getting better as I go, I promise. And I did do a little bit of Wu Shang Fallen Feathers, which I never finished, and I do plan on at least playing the game more because I'm having a great time playing it. I've just been occupied with other games. In this case,
Mhm.
right now, Resident Evil. But I did post a good amount of, well, maybe not a good amount, but a few shorts also of Elden Ring, Nightreign, and Smite. But yes, you are correct on Ninja Gaiden and Elden Ring as the main two things right now.
Fantastic. Yeah, definitely go
Mhm.
check out RL's channel. Also, you know, on my channel, I have quite a bit of gameplay. Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Devil May Cry, got Demon Souls, got quite a bit of stuff. I have some live streams as well that you can go check out. And I definitely want to do more content like this, more rankings. There's so many things we could talk about with these games. Dark Souls 3 alone. So definitely keep an eye out for those. And like I said, RL, thank you again. This was a lot of fun. And
Of course.
guys, definitely let me know what your top five ranking of the Dark Souls 3 bosses are in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks again for having me, bro.
Thank you. All
Of
right.
course. Anytime.
Bye, guys.
Peace.